On August 28th, 1955, a little boy by the name of Emmett Till was killed. And the power of media was this, that Jet magazine decided to put his picture in there for the world to see. And his mother allowed that. And that became the movement, the part that led to the civil rights movement. But it's interesting that on August 28th, 50 years later to the date, August 28th, 2005, Hurricane Katrina is getting ready to hit New Orleans. And while we would see an open casket, very similar to Emmett Till, there isn't that same type of media reporting to let the world see it as it is. That's how powerful media is. It can stir up movements. Without Emmett Till, there is no Rosa Parks on the bus. Without Emmett Till, there is no Dr. King. And so right now, that one part, that alternative little black press, little magazine, stirs and begins to move a movement. And one of the reasons we don't have those today is because they now understand the power of media. And if they can cut those Jet magazines, they can cut Free Press, if they can cut Nation magazine and all the other wonderful progressive news sources, if they can cut Pacifica Radio and all the other stories, if they can cut that, there are no more movements. You stop the media, you stop the movements. That's the game. You empower the media, you reform the media, you empower the movement, you empower the people. Oh, people who like hip hop should care about media reform because right now, the hip hop generation has faced its lunch counter moment with the war, with Katrina, with torture, with spying. These are the things. We have now encountered our 21st century lunch counter moment. And the media is one of the most powerful entities in the world. It has the power to make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent. And because of that power, no such power should be concentrated in one small group's hand. Media must run parallel with movements. And I think that's important. I think what we saw with public broadcasting and a lot of other things, that media now was no longer running parallel with movements. So in the 60s, for instance, in the anti-war movement, you saw forms of media and radio and other aspects and TV that would run parallel, as far as alternative media particularly, that run parallel with the movement. The civil rights movement and black radio, they ran parallel. You couldn't even be a part of the civil rights movement if you couldn't listen to the radio. You would literally listen to the radio to find out where the march was going to be, where you were supposed to organize, and where you were supposed to meet that evening. That was the means of that. And because now we continue to have segregated movements. And what I mean by that is that the anti-war movement sometimes is too white, and the immigration movement is sometimes too brown. The Katrina movement is sometimes too black. And because we're not integrating all these things, we're sitting back wondering what we can do to transform. Why is public media so boring? Because it's not connected to the public. It's not connected to the grassroots. It's not connected to the people. And when it becomes connected, it becomes alive. It becomes full of color. It becomes informative. Then, and only then the power of the media begins to reach the people. But we need federal policy making that begins to break apart these media conglomerates. That is not all in the hands. Similar to what was done with the phone company, because that's one of the first things we should do. And I would say, secondly, we need to inform the public. Alternative media needs to continue pushing forward, because in other words, don't get dismayed, don't stop doing what you're doing. Alternative media, free press, we need to continue pushing for the press, especially at a time like this. This is the time when the media is most needed.